Okay, so little tutorial on how I would get started modeling these two items. So remember that I am using Cinema 4D R20 and you're probably using Cinema 4D R21. And I believe they have almost all of the exact same features. You would have more than I do, perhaps. But things might be in the different places, so you may have to go hunting. So to start, I'm going to start on what I would do to make the hat. I would start with a sphere. Let me go to Growth Shading Lines. And I'm going to switch that to octahedron, so I have a more even pattern of polygons. Going to go up to 60, maybe. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to get a cube, and I'm going to bool out the bottom half of this to make it hat-shaped. When you bool with cubes, you want to make sure to get the segments up to like 3 or 4 on each side, or else bool gets weird. Okay, so I got sphere and a cube. I'm going to go to bool, drag them both into bool. Okay, that's the wrong order. You can see it took the sphere out of the cube instead of the other way around, so I'm going to drag them to replace that. Let's see. Oh, see, my cube's not quite big enough. Just drag it over like that. Make it a little bigger. Okay. When you bool, you always want to make sure you're in high quality mode and then you hit create single object or it'll get weird. Okay, so when you have the bool where you like it, you select bool and then you hold down control. So you select all 3 items, do current state to object, and then you can delete what you had in the bool originally. So now you just have this um, sphere minus cube thing. And then to make it hat shaped, what I would do is I would go into points and then hit selection. Where is it? Sorry, it's under move. So you'd hit move, go to soft selection, enable soft selection. And I don't know if Ken showed you how to do this in class, but basically it allows you to move one point and have it move other points. And I would, let me turn that up a little bit, just drag this around until you've got it to be the hat shape that you want. This is very rough, but so that's approximately hat shaped. But then you want, if it's important for you for the hat to be hollow, like a hat is, you can then take that shape. Right now I'm holding down control and dragging down, and that creates a duplicate. So I actually have 2 of these right now, but I'm going to keep them stacked on top of each other and make one smaller by dragging down. It'd be easier to see what I'm doing. I'm going back. If I go to display lines, so that just shows the line out frame. So I'm making one smaller so that it fits inside of the other one. And then you can either bool, or I'm going to use the volume builder to accomplish this because it's a little bit of a complicated geometry that bool might not be able to handle. Which one's the smaller one? Okay, so the bottom one's the smaller one. So you want, once you're in volume builder, you want to make the smaller one subtract. It's taking a minute to calculate. Maybe the voxels are too large. But my volume builder is having trouble. Let's see. Just put one in. Oh, you know what it is I'm in the wrong display mode. You can't see volume builder when you're in line mode. Okay. That's the larger one. This is the smaller one going in. subtract. Did I do it wrong? Let's see. What do I do? I'm going to move the smaller one down a little bit. I think that might be, yeah, okay, so you've moved it down a little bit. And now you have, something approximately hat-shaped. And to do the brim, what I would do is I would get a plane. So you go to, where you create objects and create a single plane. And this has enough polygons. So I would select, so I'm going to go to polygon mode right here. And I'm going to use the lasso tool to select the approximate shape of a hat's bill, like this. Oh, sorry, I have to break it apart first. Okay, so I just hit C to break apart the plane. Now I'm selecting the approximate shape of a hat bill. Oh, I don't want soft selection on right now. Removing soft selection. Okay, so actually I'm going to make that plane. See, that's a little bit too rough. I'm going to start over, create a new plane, and add in more sections. Make this 60 each direction. Okay, now again, I'm going to use the lasso tool to create something hat brim shaped. Oh, again, I didn't break it apart. Okay, hitting C to break it apart. Selecting hat brim shape approximately. You should take more time as you're doing this. I'm just trying to show you the general process. I'm going to go to select, invert. So I have the parts I don't want selected, and I'm going to hit delete or backspace. Okay, so now what you have a single plane of polygons, and I'm going to mold that into something more hat shaped. So now I'm going back to live selection, so I can just select one point. I'm going to go to move and turn soft selection back on. So I'm going to pull up on this. Actually, so that kind of created a point. Actually, probably what you want for this would be to go to bell curve mode. Creates more of a soft pull. Yeah, so I'm going to bend this a little, and I'll bend this down. And again, you should take more time as you're doing this. So you get something that's approximately hat brim shaped. But this is not something you could print right now. This is just a single layer of polygons. This is not something that can exist in the real world. But what you can do is to turn a sheet of polygons into an object is to go to Simulate Cloth and hit Cloth Surface. That created a cloth surface over here. I'm going to drag the plane into Cloth Surface, and I'm going to add a thickness of 1 centimeter. And so that made that, so if we turn it down, so that it goes from having no thickness from just being a plane to when you pull it into the cloth surface, it gets thickness, and it's now a polygon that can be printed. You can make it a little bit thicker. You can up that to maybe 3 centimeters. Yeah, that's looking good. So you can drag that towards your hat, your approximate hat shape, and it's a little bit too big. You can scale it down. Again, you take more care as you're doing this. And then say that you're done, you have your hat shape, you're ready, this is much more polished. I would then drag this into your volume builder, and you have a hat. And again, I think Ken showed you that you would then want to go to volume mesher, drag your volume builder into volume mesher. So now you have a polygon here, select everything. I held down shift to select everything, and go to create current state to object, and then you have your hat. Okay, for the string of the club, which I've lost, but you know what it looks like. Oh, it's an edge. Okay, there we go. The string of this club, I would use splines And how I would do this is I would go to the pen tool and create splimes in the approximate shape that you want your string. Um, you can then double click. Once you've created a spline, you can double click to make it have curved edges, which is what you want. So this is like a string. And you can interact in splimes in 3 dimensions. So I'm now going to go to the move tool, and I'm going to, actually, do I want soft selection on? Yeah. And I'm going to move the points. So you can arrange how you want the string to be formed in 3 dimensions before you go to the next step, which is going to be spline wraps. So this is your spline. Pretend it's in the shape that you want that Billy Club string to be, and you want to go to sweep. You're going to drag your spline into sweep, and since you want this to be a chord, so you want it to be rounded, you're going to go to pen where you created your spline, and you're going to create a circle. And it's going to want to be a lot smaller than that. You want this circle to be the diameter that you want the string to be, so you want it to be pretty small. And then you're going to drag that into sweep 2. And I just did them in the wrong order because that's whack. So you reorder them. Okay, and now you have, what is approximately what you're looking for. You have a string, and it's going around. And if it overlaps, so for example, I know you have a knot in there. So if I were to edit my spline in a way that it overlapped like this, or something to that effect, this is not a printable model. It looks all right, but this is not something you could print. But what you can do is select everything, current state to object, and pop your impossible geometry into Volume Builder, and Volume Builder will just sort of sort everything out and get it to a point where once you put that into a volume mesher, it'll create something that could be printed. It's now one unified geometry. There's nothing, if you go to lines, you'll see there's nothing hidden inside of there that would mess up a 3D print.